Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have kids, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome, glad to have you here. Oh look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee. You sure? It's cultist coffee. What makes it cultist coffee? I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it. Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Hello, good morning, everyone. So good to see you. I am very happy to be back with you today. I am sorry for the debacle yesterday, but you know what? Actually, it was beneficial because after I did get home, I ended up just like going to sleep, taking a nap, and then basically took yesterday off. I did do some creative stuff and I went out and cut the grass more, but basically I just kind of chilled and took the day off. And I am feeling so much better today than I was yesterday. Got up, was working hard this morning early, and was working on the first Tales of Ravivania script. So finally I actually got to sit down with the beat sheet, which I basically got approval of, and was working on the actual script itself. And it was going so well. It's going so well. It's writing fast. It's writing fast. Now I'm still very early, but it's writing fast. I'm very excited about that. And I've got other things I got to work on today, but since I started that, I just want to push on that and get it going because, you know, Brianna's over there and she's got her first script in, extended draft form, not a first draft form. It's been through revisions and things like that. But so once I actually get the script, a version of the script that she's actually been showing to people and passing around. So I'm anxious to be able to get to that too. So, but I got other things I got to do too. So, hello, Draco. Good morning, Dungeon Master. Good to see you. Wonderful. Dungeon Master says, I own this book and the Book of Exalted Deeds. I use them a lot. We found so far, when we've been going through it here, that it's been very useful. So we're still going to be going through the Book of Vile Darkness today. So I want to complete this series on the Book of Vile Darkness. Go ahead and stick with this. Because there's been so much great stuff in it. But we're going to look at some other stuff too. We'll be looking at world building tomorrow for the Tales of Rabavania. And then also, it was brought up last Sunday that we should look at some of the board games that I designed. So that actually sounds like a great idea. So maybe Enchantress or War of Kings this week as well. So, but Book of Vile Darkness today. Hey, Stray, good to see you. Toadstool Hollow is here from snowy New England. Good morning. Good morning. Jonas Devlin is here. Good morning. Good morning. Zero the Blade. Good to see you. Bucko. Seth Chapman is here, and Mike Hansford is here. Wow, lots of people here this morning. Brent, wonderful. Good to see everybody. It was good to have a peaceful day. Dungeon Master says, I wish I could bottle and sell a quarter of my productivity. I don't feel very productive. I always feel like I don't get anything done. But I'm glad to hear that other people think that they don't have that feeling. Okay, I did do something yesterday, though. So I was having an idea. So while I was just trying to chill out, I got something to show you at the end of the stream today. So we'll look at the Book of Vile Darkness. At the end of the stream, though, I was making up some very creepy horror things as a test. I want to show you that because one of the issues that I have is that with Theophany and the Tales of Rabavania, Theophany is the story that's going to tell the world is going to tell the story of the fall of Satan, and then Rabavania is my world of medieval rabbits. I've got very specific visions for those and how they need to be, but I needed some kind of playground world that I could play in using some new technology, especially the AI stuff, and to allow me to experiment and also produce something and go from zero to done without the constraint and like the emotional constraint and whatever else I put on myself is that, oh my God, it's not exactly what it's supposed to be with Rabavania yet. I got to push the tech, just work with the technology in general. So I'm going to show you that. I warn you, it's creepy. It is creepy. It is not for the faint of heart. It's horror stuff. But I will show that a preview of that at the end of the stream. Hey, James, just bailed halfway through a meeting to watch the stream. It was all fluff anyway. Oh, that's good. I always confuse this book with the naughty one. Hey, Neutromancer. Yes, this one is not, the book of erotic fantasy. We did look at that one. So if you want to see the book of erotic fantasy, we did look at that one. And I wasn't terribly impressed with it. I've been much more impressed with this, the book of Vile Darkness. If the book of erotic fantasy had been as good, it could have been. It could have covered that subject just as well as the book of Vile Darkness is covering its subject, but it just didn't. Some auto desyncing going on? Really? Let me just make sure that my audio. Let's see. That I might have fixed that. If that was the case. I was going through the same camera, but going through the same microphone, but through a different cable. If there was something on my end, I may have fixed it. Okay, let's go over to the morning messages, and then let's get started with the Book of Vile Darkness. The Morning Grind is brought to you by World Anvil. For all the game masters out there, World Anvil supports more than 45 systems, including D&D, or you can create your own. It allows game masters to plan, play, and present their adventures and campaigns. Use the code MORNINGGRIND to get 40% off yearly subscriptions. The Morning Grind is also brought to you by the Cool Name RPG. Cool Name is all about building a new fantasy RPG with a dream team of RPG designers and then giving it away free to the world. Support its development now on Kickstarter. And thank you for being here with me live on The Morning Grind. And if you're watching on replay, welcome to you as well. It's great to have you here. If you're enjoying The Morning Grind, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. It will really help the channel grow, and I would be very thankful. We also have the Ravenkeep Discord server you can join if you would like to be a part of the community. Alright, that's what you need to know. Let's get to the main. Alright. And also, I want to give a special thank you. I need to make sure this is included. A special thank you to all the channel members. The channel members, I really appreciate you guys. And if you're not a member and you're enjoying this, please do consider joining. We are going to do more members-only streams. You're going to get access. You get access to the emojis that you've been seeing, and of course, you also get your own coat of arms, which I think is just fun on YouTube. But I'm also working to put out the world information that all of you guys, the channel members, will get access on World Anvil. So that's going on. So please consider about that. I'm trying to make sure that if you're a channel member, that you get more value out of this channel than you do out of Twitter. Rather than buying Twitter, maybe that's where I'm trying to go. That, if you're using Twitter or something like that, you think, we'll see where are entertainment and things like that. I'm hoping that this is more useful than Twitter. Okay, so let me bring up the auxiliary camera system. And today we also have our new auxiliary camera. So it should look even better now. But okay, so now the problem with it is that it doesn't have its own light source. So I'm going to have to figure out the best way to use this other light with it. But check this out. This, in fact, I'm going to open up the book. Millmaster recommended getting something called a document camera. I knew somebody would know something that was like, oh, no, this is the kind of thing you need. Let's see. I've got several different settings here. I'm going to have to work with the focus settings. But it should, yeah, okay, so how about that? Like, you should actually be able to read some of the stuff that is on the book. It may be better for me to use this light over here. This is going to be like a whole new ball game right here. That does look better, doesn't it? Oh, yeah, this is like a whole new live stream, because we were having the problem that I was like looking at a table or something. Looking at a table in Starfinder, and everybody, it was too blurry to actually read the table on the screen. So yeah, so this is a whole new ball game over here with the document camera. In fact, I may have to. So this is also going to change up the crafter's corner. It should be actually easier to see what I am working on during the crafter's corner, and this is also going to be a huge help, I think, during dinner and a board game, the new dinner and a board game setups. So I am excited about that. So thank you very much to Millmaster for the recommendation. So if you know somebody else on a live stream who's having problems with their auxiliary camera, a document camera is what they need. Okay, so we've been going through a lot of this because it's been so good. We were about to get to evil equipment. I think we had just gotten to, so we had just done souls as power. I don't think we had looked at pain as power, which I think we should probably do over here. Pain as power. There we go. Pain as power. But then we're going to be getting into the lingering effects of evil, which it specifically drew out, and then going over to vile equipment. So let's see. Oh, wait, we didn't breathe and sip. All right, so let's breathe before I start reading. That way I'm not all, whatever the word is, anxious. That's great. Okay, so pain as power. Some spells and magic items, such as the liquid pain spell and the pain extractor wondrous item, allow pain to be stored in special receptacles. The distilled pain, often called agony, is a thick liquid. Oh, wow. Okay. Evil spellcasters can use liquid pain in magic item creation. Each dose is the equivalent of 3 experience points needed to create the item. Liquid pain can be used in conjunction with the dark craft experience points and souls used for experience points. A dose of pain can also be used as a special evil spell component. Some infernal magic items are powerful or powered by pain. See demonic engines and demonic devices. It takes 1 full day to distill a dose of liquid pain for the liquid pain spell in pain extractor. A victim cannot endure or produce, to put another way, more extractions of pain than it has points of constitution. Yeah, I'm very happy with this. Pain as power. Playing the flagellant in the darkest dungeon, like playing the darkest dungeon. I haven't played that video game yet, but I got that. We did an unboxing of Darkest Dungeon on the morning grind. If you want to catch up with that, I'm looking forward to playing that one as well. So many games. I know. Isn't this? I'm so happy about this because I figured there had to be some way to actually be able to have a good camera that, over here for the auxiliary system. So I'm very happy about that. Millmaster says, yeah, I use the high def version of that 4K camera on my shabby MTG channel. It was great. Yeah, so yeah, that was perfect. I knew someone would know exactly what to use. Okay, the hive mind. Okay, let's look at vile damage. Vile damage, like regular damage, results in the loss of hit points or ability score points. Unlike regular damage, vile damage can only be healed by magic cast within the area of a consecrate or hallow spell. Vile damage represents an evil volition to a character's body or soul that only a holy place or healing magic can repair the damage. So yeah, we had necrotic damage, and there is holy or radiant damage. So does there need to be the equivalent of vile damage? Equivalent, I guess, of radiant damage. So I guess that's vile damage. Evil weather. As a plague sent by an evil god or the byproduct of a greater evil, nefarious manifestations of evil weather can threaten the well-being of vast areas and huge numbers of people. Like mundane weather, evil weather is unpredictable, and it rarely appears in some way twice. Violent rain brings portents of great evil. Once a violet. There's no N in there. It's violet. Once violet rain begins to fall, all connection with divine agencies is severed for 24 hours. Divine spellcasters have no access to spells. And when violent rain occurs, leaders of temples often hire extra help to safeguard the temple while they are bereft of magic. Green fog that rolls across the countryside. These sound like the plagues of Egypt. Plague of nettles. Rain of blood. This horrible event can occur during regular parts of a thunderstorm or on its own. Blood pours down in thick drops for 2d10 minutes, coating everything in a dark red sticky mess. Any living non-evil creatures in the area of the rain of blood must succeed in a will save or take -1 morale penalty on attack and damage rolls, checks, saves for 24 hours. Corporeal undead gain +1 morale bonus on attack and damage rolls. Rain of fish or frogs. Lingering effects of evil. Now, see, I always liked the taint rules. There's taint. It seems like corruption. I think we've talked about how corruption often comes up in a whole bunch of different expansions that people want to write. And I think corruption is in Unearthed Arcana. But I always also liked taint from the Unearthed Arcana. It seemed, I think you could use it in place of alignment. And I always liked that. Oh, you think vile damage is more like life drain than a damage element type? It could be. It could be. Hey, Andrew. Hey, Andrew. It is good to see you. Good to see you here. Diggs, by the way, 7. What's up? Hey, coming in from Twitch. Good to see you out on Twitch. Okay, so lasting evil. A lasting evil event. I'm going to try turning on this light over here while we play around with, not that light. Our new camera. That might be better. I don't want the glare on it, but I think it does need more light. Okay. Events of lasting evil include building an evil temple, multiple sacrifices to an evil god or fiend, summoning multiple fiends, committing a mass murder or storing the grisly trophies of such a crime, multiple possessions of innocence, the long-term presence of a lich, nightshade, or other powerful undead, the long-term presence of an evil outsider on the material plane. Oh, and what happens to those? So locations might have an unnatural chill. The absence of plant life. Objects may become darker or paler in color. Darkness like the world has never seen before. Generally unique in all the world, such events scars the nature of reality. Such a scar will probably never heal. The worst of all fell events might include the following: an act of genocide, the birth of an evil god, the murder of a god, demigod, or legendary hero of light. So what happens to locations? An unhallow spell spreads throughout the area. Dispelling the unhallowed effect only suppresses it for 1d4 rounds. A befoul or despoil spell spreads throughout the area. Okay, so now the next chapter, though, we are on to the next one. Oh, it's Sable Phoenix. Good to see you. You know, I was noticing that there are a number of people that are on the live chats and then also just in the comments in general with Phoenix in their names. Phoenix is very popular around here, but the Sable Phoenix is a regular here. Good to see you. So we've got let's see rules for torture, because sometimes torture, well, sometimes it depends on how you actually want to play it out. Let's see what it says in here. But getting tortured and then just saying, well, did you fail your Constitution roll or something like that? That can leave something to be desired as far as role playing goes. Although some people may not certainly want to role play torture. Seems like they're leaning into evil. Need to bust out their thesaurus to vary up the text. I'm looking at the fish power line too. Well, yeah. Well, it is. Well, it's the Book of Vile Darkness. So this is evil equipment. So torture devices. Rules of torture. The torturer's victim first must be secured, either by being tied in place, pinned in a grapple, or successfully restrained in a stationary torture device. A victim in such a device can make an attempt to make an escape artist check every round against the DC associated with the device. A pinned creature can attempt to break a grapple. However, the torturer is generally watching while the victim is being restrained in a stationary torture device or being grappled by a third party. If the victim attempts an escape artist check or a grapple check in the knowing presence of the torturer, whether or not the check succeeds, the torturer can hit the creature with a coup de grace. Once the victim is secure, the torturer can attempt to use one use of torture device against the secured victim in a certain amount of time frame, such as once every round. Each device has an associated circumstance bonus that's applied to the torturer's intimidation checks. When the torturer attempts to pry desired information from the victim, the intimidate check's DC is 10 plus the victim's level or HD. So the torturer is giving you, as the torturer, or whoever the torturer is, a bonus to an intimidation check, which is 10 plus. So actually, in some ways, this is, if it's being done to a PC, this might be worse. We'll just have to see where it goes, and that you're not resisting it with like a Constitution save or something, or a will save. But this is something that the bad guys would be doing to you. James says, I know what's in this book, and I still am always shocked at its directness. Rules of torture, just plunking it down on the table, all very matter-of-factly, which is certainly not done now, right? Fortitude con saves are used to soak physical damage, which really isn't feasible in a torture scenario. Yeah, it could be, yeah, will. Will is probably better. If a PC is being tortured, I'd say the save would be will. Yeah, I agree. Everybody loves the document camera. This is fantastic. There should be a new, stronger word for evil, like bad, wrong, or badong. I was just reading about about a cook that was boiled alive by Henry VIII in front of a crowd, and that many more people failed their Constitution checks versus beheadings. Okay, of course, the victim can choose to reveal the information before torture is applied. Merely threatening to use a torture device against a victim can be effective. If the torturer succeeds on a bluff check opposed by the victim's sense motive check, the torturer can use half the device's circumstance bonus in her subsequent intimidate check. When using a torture device, a torturer can attempt multiple intimidation checks to gain the same information, unlike the standard use of the intimidation skill. A successful intimidation check indicates the victim yields up the requisite information. Of course, this is not, of course, none of this is particularly fantastic to sit here and think about. But if it were happening to a PC, because you don't have, like in Dungeons and Dragons, just loss of hit points or something doesn't result in like permanent disfigurement. I mean, that's a reason why you would not, and there are many reasons you not want to be tortured. But if you don't have that, well, anyway, I don't want to talk about that. But there's a lot of reasons why it doesn't work so well in role-playing games. Dungeon Master says, highly, highly, highly recommend checking out the Apocalypse Stone for 3.5 as well. Rules for destroying your world. I don't know that one. The Apocalypse Stone. Thank you for the recommendation. Torture can either be physical or mental, so it won't always be con fortitude save. Could be wisdom or will. Yeah. The not nice tools of torture and the unpleasant rain, I guess, don't have the same punch. No, I guess they don't. Especially since you can re-roll the torture rolls. Let's see. The victim can attempt to mislead a torturer, pretending to give up the real information in hopes that the torturer will end the pain. The victim's bluff check is opposed by the torturer's sense motive check if the victim lies or leads the torturer during the investigation. Because the torturer is convinced of her methods, the pain reveals the truth, and the torture can't be withstood. The torturer is more likely to believe even the most outlandish lie. The torturer takes a -3 circumstance penalty on the sense motive checks to see through the bluffs of those she tortures. Even victims who don't really know the information sought by the torturer can be compelled to lie to make the pain go away. The tendency of victims to say anything to stop the pain makes torture impractical in some cases, but even a torturer feels that if she's extracted the truth, she may continue the torture anyway. If a victim is brought to 0 hit points or lower through the use of torture equipment, then later healed, the subsequent use of torture device against the victim doubles the device's circumstance bonus on the torturer's intimidation checks. Because you've died because of it? This doubling only occurs on the second and subsequent torture sessions. So we got some different descriptions here. Branding iron hot poker. D3 points of damage, 1 intimidation check. Hot lead, Iron Maiden. The coffin-shaped iron box is laden with spikes on the interior surface. Anyone placed inside is pierced up dozens of times, and any movements causes more pain. The Iron Maiden has several settings that determine how tightly the two sides come together when the device is closed. At the lowest setting, anyone inside takes 1 point of damage per round. The moderate setting deals 5 points of damage, the severe setting deals 10 points of damage, and the terminal setting deals 50 points of damage each round. Once the Iron Maiden is closed to any setting, the torturer can make an intimidation check any round. Jawbreaker. I don't even want to read that one. Okay, here's Pillory. This wooden device, consisting of a frame with holes for the victim's head and hands, is not a torture device in and of itself. A pillory is designed to confine and restrain the victim. When a pillory is located in a public space, the torturer, her minions, and even passing strangers can taunt, assault, and further humiliate the victim. When those linger near the pillory, commit acts ranging from simple degradation to the victim to outright physical harm. Each 8 hours in confinement typically deals 1d6 points of damage and allows 1 intimidation check. The rack here. Now the rack, we've got a rack in Hero Quest. So the rack always seems to come up in Hero Quest. And the torture device I would say that you become most familiar with as a kid in fantasy is the rack, because it's shows up in Hero Quest. Mills Master says, aren't there rules in Call of Cthulhu where application of pain over time sets the difficulty for injuries or mental insanity? Maybe there is. We haven't gotten deep into Call of Cthulhu. We did go over its beginner box, but didn't go deep. Not yet. George says, greetings. I'd suggest mental torture is charisma in 5th edition. Interesting. Yeah, Princess Leia and Moff Tarkin. David Sims says, I always feel these sorts of rules are meant for evil PCs to use on NPCs. The problem with the other way around is it requires a degree of loss of agencies on the PC's part, which feels bad for the players. Right, yes. That's generally my concern as well. Or especially if the player could just say, well, I'm not giving up the information. And in that case, they just die because you're not torturing the player. Thank God. Right. So that's why I say that it often doesn't work. You're probably right that this would work better if you were an evil PC trying to get information out of a NPC. But I've never played any game like that. and don't really want to. Execution equipment. Okay, rules of execution. The condemned must first be secured by being tied in place, pinned in a grapple, or successfully restrained in a stationary device. If restrained in an execution device, the condemned can attempt to make an escape artist check. Okay. Once the victim is secured, the executioner can attempt the chosen method of execution. The executioner makes a profession executioner check against the DCs given for the table. On this table down here. Okay. If the check is successful, the condemned is slain according to the nature of the device. If the executioner fails, the execution is botched, and the executioner can make another check the following round. Botched attempts deal the damage noted for the device, so the condemned may be killed even by the executioner who botches the attempt. Prideful executioners, which include most of them, take as a personal point of honor if they kill the condemned on a botched execution. Execution devices as weapons. Some execution devices, such as a headsman's axe, make adequate melee weapons. In melee, such an item deals normal damage for an item of its kind and cannot kill instantly. Most other devices cannot be used in melee. Okay, so let's see. We got crucifixion cross. This device consists of 2 lengths of wood or other strong material plus several nails. The executioner affixes the condemned to the structure by driving nails through the wrists and arch of each foot. When affixed, the condemned is considered crucified. On a successful profession executioner check, the excruciating pain slowly kills the condemned over the next several hours. She loses a number of hit points equal to 10% her full normal total in about an hour, or each hour. If the executioner botches the crucifixion, the condemned is not securely fastened to the cross, and gains a plus 10 bonus on escape artist checks. She still loses 10% of her hit point totals each hour she remains on the cross. So execution DC 10, DC escape 28. So this was different because it's 10% of your total hit points per hour that you're crucified. Cheap, one gold coin. Well, actually, draw and quarters only 3 silver pieces, but heavy, of course. Draw and quarter. I don't know if I want to read that one. Yeah, kind of not. I'm going to skip over drawing and quarter. How do you hang someone, though? The rope used for this purpose has usually been boiled and stretched beforehand. Let's go over here. Sable Phoenix says, conversely, does it feel any worse to have this than to be subjected to something like a feeble-minded or disease condition? Well, the roleplay implications are definitely different. George says, yeah, just kill them and then speak to dead. That's always been an issue, right? And see, I'd rather not go through the role-playing of the torture. Jonas says, we do normally frown upon torturing players. Yes, rules lawyers might be the exception. Neutromancer says, I think this book is one of those that seems to be a set of rules looking for a target audience. It's mostly a curiosity that anyone would actually use. Well, you know, I've disagreed with that, I think, so far. Like, I've thought that the rules about possessed objects and possession and all of that, so some of the stuff that we had seen before, rules for sacrifices and that kind of magic system, I was really excited about some of that. I'm less excited about the torture equipment here and methods of execution. But I think in the book like this, they do have a place. George says, in my games, we regularly subject one another to torture. Bad puns all session long. So then we have armor, equipment, and traps. Like spring needle in a sword hilt, plate armor, locking trap, poison gas spray in a coin purse, alchemical and quasi-magic items, feather powder, festering bomb, cuirass stone knife, violated horn, weeping stone. Okay, now we get over here to drugs. Drugs function like poisons, allowing the imbiber an initial and secondary saving throw to resist their effects. Delay poison, neutralize poison, and similar effects negate or end the drug's effects, but they do not restore hit points, ability damage, or other damage caused by the subject. A creature that willingly takes a drug automatically fails both saving throws. It's not possible to intentionally fail the initial save, but attempt the save against the secondary damage or vice versa. So it says, depending on your campaign, drugs may be difficult or easy to acquire. The decision is a matter of taste. However, whether drugs are illegal, as might be the case in a restrictive but good aligned civilizations, if it's commonplace, pushers will exist. Sounds like somebody's doing yard work next door. Okay, we got tables for addictions down here. So drug addiction functions much like a disease as described in the Dungeon Master's Guide. Upon initial exposure, anytime a character imbibes or applies a drug with an addiction rating, the character must succeed a fortitude saving throw or become addicted as shown below. Addiction proceeds like disease. While addicted, the character takes ability damage each day until he succeeds at fortitude save against the given DC. So we've got addiction levels here: negligible, low, medium, high, extreme, and vicious. Each one of them has a fortitude save, a satiation time, and then damage as well. We're categorizing drugs with an initial effect, a secondary effect, a side effect, and then what constitutes an overdose. Oh, here we've got actually agony, which they called liquid pain, here as a drug. Oh, we saw that one. David Sims says, and horror games in general often come up against these issues, but dedicated horror games can often work around it. Horror players often know that only the star makes it out alive. Fantasy characters want immortal heroes. Yeah, it didn't. I think it gave the rules that a method that I was expecting, and I think it was brought up. Those might be decent. They're decent torture rules. Can you have decent torture rules? But maybe rules if a PC was using torture, but that's not the kind of thing I run. And having the PCs get tortured really isn't something that I don't think has ever. It's not something I can really remember if it's come up. Part of this book are very good, and others can be passed over and never mentioned again. Zero the Blade says. Millmaster says, honestly, just describing these items and methods to the PCs by executioner would be enough. Yeah, it could be. So, but I mean, lots of people have definitely thought that lots of this book was very useful. So, Jonas says, I ran a grim dark style campaign as a precursor to a Ravenloft ongoing, and we used a ton from this book. Not much the torture though, rituals and stuff. Yeah, like the rituals. That's the kind of stuff I really like. Let's see. So, like for instance, agony, liquid pain. This thick reddish liquid is the distilled essence of pain captured using special spells or items, such as the pain is power section in chapter 2. It's highly sought after by outsiders. The initial effect. So, if you choose to imbibe liquid pain or have it forced upon you, I would think you have it take a saving throw whether or not you intentionally take the drug or not. Actually, Andrew says. Let's see. So if ingesting the agony liquid pain, initial effect, the user is stunned for 1d4 rounds and can only take partial actions for 1d6 minutes after that. Secondary effects include plus 1d4, d4 plus 1 enhancement bonus to charisma. Oh, it actually enhances your charisma? I guess it has to do something for you. That's why you'd want to take it. But you are stunned. But then it enhances your charisma bonus for 1d10 plus 50 minutes. The side effects, feelings of intense pleasure for 1d4 hours. Well, I guess that this is an advantage. Like we talked about other reasons why you need liquid pain and something evil characters could do with it. But I guess another thing is that if you're evil, this gives you a bonus, but you have to inflict pain and extract it from someone. If more than one dose is taken in a 24-hour period, the user immediately falls unconscious for 1d4 hours. Okay, we got devilweed here. Wondering if we're talking about long bottom leaf. I don't know. We're about to find out, though. Sable Phoenix says, I don't know of any supplement or setting in 5e that includes drugs except for the tallest conversion into 5e. Monty Cook includes several drugs specific to the world of Praymall. And of course, Monty Cook wrote this book. So devilweed, leaves from the Wisson plant are dried and rolled into a tobacco-like substance and smoked. You get 1 point of wisdom damage as initial effect. Secondary effect is the smoker gains a +2 alchemical bonus to strength for 1d3 hours. Side effects, the creatures under the effect of devilweed is easily confused and acts skittish. Treat as shaken. No overdose. Mushroom powder. Taken from rare blue mushrooms, this powder must be inhaled. It's popular among arcane spellcasters. Initial effect is a +2 alchemical bonus to intelligence and charisma for 1 hour. Secondary effect is 1 point of strength damage. Side effect, this is a mild hallucinogen. The user takes a -2 alchemical penalty to wisdom for 1d4 hours and -2 alchemical penalty to strength and constitution for 2d4 hours. Overdose. If more than one dose is taken in a 24-hour period, the user takes 2d6 points of damage. Using it more than 3 times a day in any 24 hours deals 46 points of damage and paralyzes the user for 2d4 damage. Terran Brandy. A potent alcohol, this magical drink is flavored by heartless spellcasters, it could be, is favored by heartless spellcasters of all types. This green liquid is distilled in the essence of a dying fae. +2 alchemical bonus to effective caster level for 1d20 plus 20 minutes. So that's nice. +2, that's nice. That's nice. The +2 alchemical bonus to effective caster level. Yeah, I can see why. But you take 2 points of constitution damage. But now we've got poisons. Oh, we were talking about diseases last time. So Sable Fence was talking about. We did look up some things about poison last time because poisons and diseases seemed rather generic in 5th edition. Although we saw that the 5th edition PHB, 5th edition DMG did have a few extra options for diseases, but not anywhere near this granular. Sounds like something on apothecaries can use with that liquid pain. Something an apothecary could use. Spellcaster flavor. George says, if one accepts that D&D is a medieval fantasy, then drugs do have a place. Alcohol was plentiful. Other drugs were available, most of them poisons depending on dose. I want to have hallucinogenic mushrooms in Rabavania, actually. And I want them to deal with that with actually, you could probably, maybe this is an interesting idea, looking at these drugs here, because I'm always looking for a way to add some way for alchemists to do better and have more effects, but you could also probably create some type of spell casting system with, or alternate with the use of these different kinds of drugs. Because if you are using like a shaman character or something like that, they're able to prepare this, or some type of herbalist character, like a witch or something like that, that these could be, the drugs could also be magic-like. These are fantasy anyway in here, so having that be part of magic in a world could work. Let's say alcohol was plentiful. Other drugs were available, most of them poisons depending on dose. I remember that Hackmaster has a lot about alcohol in it. Just look at the etymology of assassin. Yes, yes. David Sims, does anyone know if the drug rules were introduced in this book or if they pre-existed in 3 and 3.5 or these new ones? I don't know. If it's in another book, it's not like any of the core books. I don't think that they are anywhere near this extensive. I think I would remember it if you're specifically asking about drugs. I don't remember drug rules in any of the core books. Could be wrong. Andrew says, well, also remember in the old days, they used weak beer in lieu of water because you couldn't trust the water. Not sure if I want it too realistic. Well, and what the thing we always talk about here is what is realistic anyway in a magic world? Like, what's the effect of magic on the world to make it, because we're looking at the cities and towns and talking about, well, if you've got D&D level magic, how is your sanitation? Probably pretty good. So poisons here. So we've got a lot of different poisons over here, a whole table of poisons. Tiny centipede poison, small centipede poison, medium-sized centipede poison, large centipede poison, huge centipede poison, gargantuan centipede poison, colossal centipede poison. And then we go through that again for scorpions, for spiders, Bebelith venom, devil's eye, life's bane, life blast, baler, bile, all which are giving a injury DC, initial damage, secondary damage, price, and DC to create. Oh, look, here's using the alchemy skill. Characters with the alchemy skill can substitute it for craft poison making, but doing so imposes a -4 circumstance penalty on checks related to poison making. Harvesting venom. Because of the refinement process, raw venom from creatures doesn't command anywhere near the price of a dose of real poison. There's no open market for poison raw materials because the use of poison is often illegal or very rarely admitted to. Characters who hunt creatures for their venom will have a difficult time finding buyers for corpses of poisonous creatures. If they find a buyer, characters will typically get 1/6 the cost for one dose of the refined version of the poison. No. We have psychic poisons, though. Let's see what psychic poisons are. Psychic poisons are a particular sort of intentional curse bestowed upon a creature, object, or area, almost always as the result of a psychic poison spell. Psychic poisons are used as traps in some way that contact poisons might be used on a chest full of valuables. Psychic poison is a magical toxin that affects those who cast certain types of spells for the creature, object, or area. If the spellcaster casts a mind-affecting or divination spell at the object affected by the psychic poison, a creature within a poisoned area will make a will save. So we got this list of different types of psychic poisons, though. Blue onion, umber onion, black onion. They do damage to things like charisma, wisdom, and intelligence. How are we doing on time here? Okay, because I want to make sure we see our other preview of what I was working on. First edition AD&D dealt with alcohol. I know there have been rules for dealing with how much alcohol you can drink before you're intoxicated. Second edition definitely had disease, poison, and drug rules. Some of these contexts were introduced in Dragon Magazine. And we could probably go and find some of them. I've got the AD&D second edition books over there. I know there were drugs listed in the Dark Sun, for instance. We're going to have to look at Dark Sun. I think Dark Sun has now been is going to what's the word? Not suffer from, but be the beneficiary of, I suppose, the Streisand effect, because that's what got me interested in it, because that's the one that we're not supposed to look at anymore, right? Or at least the one that's problematic, right? Is there a drug master class in D&D? I don't know. I was going to say it was alchemist, but apparently it's profession poisoner. Jonah says, didn't old school Forgotten Realms box setting have more diseases and drugs local to the setting? I believe they did, but were downplayed in the latter editions because of reasons. It wouldn't surprise me. Let's look at evil material components. Oh, and that rounds out this chapter. Evil material components. Certain special components are required for the casting of evil spells. If a particular component is not mentioned in Table 3.8, its price is negligible and the component is part of the caster's component pouch. For an extra 10 gold pieces, any material component can be magically preserved, retarding its normal decay and decomposition for 24 hours. Evil spell components include agony, liquid pain, beast brain fluid, a bit of lycanthrope fur or skin, a bit of ochre jelly or gray ooze, chromatic dragon heart, demon flesh, demon heart, devil's heart, feather of an intelligent creature, humanoid bone, humanoid brain, humanoid eye, humanoid finger, humanoid hand, humanoid heart. Metallic dragon heart, soul in larval form, soul in receptacle, tongue of creature capable of speech, vial of humanoid blood, Vrock feather, only one usable per fiend, and Yogoloth's brain. Several evil spell components are optional and may be mentioned along with other components in the spell's descriptive text. These components sometimes increase the potency of an evil spell. The component is consumed whether it helps or not. The spellcaster can use only one optional component in the casting of an evil spell, so 2 humanoid hearts or the humanoid heart and a brain won't improve the spellcaster's chances. As with any spell component, the caster must be touching an optional evil spell component and have it displayed prominently for it to function. These optional components can only be applied to spells with the evil descriptor. So here we got, so this is our description of the agony chromatic dragon heart. If the spell component is applied, so these are optional. This is what it says about using agony as a spell component. It says pain in distilled liquid form, see pain as power at chapter 2, is extracted by certain spells or items automatically increase the effective caster level of a single spell by 2. This increase doesn't stack with previous applications of liquid pain or any other bonuses to effective caster level. Humanoid Child's Eye. A spell with this component is applied. A spell that has this component applied has a 20% chance to have its duration doubled. The eye must be intact and fresh or preserved. The humanoid finger. If a spell that has this component is applied to requires a touch attack, there's a 40% chance to receive a +1 profane bonus on the attacker's roll. All right. So then we get over to feats. This book introduces a new type of feat, the Vile feat. Only intelligent characters of evil alignment can use Vile feats. Vile feats are granted to characters at the behest of a powerful evil agency, a god, demon, or something similar. As such, Vile demons are supernatural abilities rather than extraordinary abilities. Some DMs may want to require a character that seeks a Vile feat to perform a special ritual or make an actual bargain with a powerful creature or evil. So boost spell-like ability, boost spell-like resistance, corrupt spell-like ability. Okay, here is dark speech down here. Zero the Blade says, those charts definitely help with making my apothecary job easier with their concoct skill. Is this 5e? These charts definitely help with making my apothecary. Oh, yeah. I see. I like charts like that. The evil. Did you say Dungeon Master's Guide? Page 82. Probably doesn't have as much crunch as this would over here. Or is that the AD? I don't see that here on the 5th edition Dungeon Master's Guide. Is it AD&D? A prestige class that was a pharmacist? I don't remember that one. Vision says, that's the long chat that I just made. Okay, well, let's see what you had to say then. All right. Thank you very much for the $10, Vision. I really appreciate it. So Vision says, I played an Adventurers League for D&D. Our party got captured and the rest of the party made a deal with our captors. I got left behind because I was loyal to Linearial Silverhand, the open lord of Waterdeep. The party really didn't have a choice as our main characters were going to be killed. I still remained loyal as I gave my word in service to Lariel, though my character was going to be tortured to death. He wasn't. He was rescued by one of Lariel's spies. I reported where the party and captors went, revealing the location of the vault of the dragon heist. It came down to an epic fight with myself and one other party member. Oh, wow. Against the big bad evil guy. We didn't stand a chance. The DM again asked me if I wanted to betray Lateral or die. I chose to fight to the death. No joke. I've been playing this character for months and was level 10. Just as we rolled initiative, DM rolled an extra initiative. Lariel Silverhand herself with her guard showed up and ended the battle before it began. I like it. I was rewarded for my loyalty with a boon, the title, and the badge of the watch. It's like a nearly impossible magic item to earn. To a Polar Master Paladin, it was priceless. That sounds like a great story. I think that was a great story. This book is made for 3.5. Yeah. Okay. So AD&D. Hang on. Let me grab that. Oh, well, nope, not page 82 here. I'm looking at the wrong thing. We'll look at that later. I'm sure alcohol is probably going to come up in here. That is a great story, Vision. Hey, let's go over here, and then I will show you what I was working on. The creepy stuff I was working on. So other types of feats here: deformity, eye. What is that like? If the character is either drilled a hole in her forehead trying to add a third eye, or she is supernaturally scarred from one of her, or has supernaturally scarred one of her regular eyes. Prerequisite: willing deformity. As a supernatural ability, the character can use see invisibility for 1 minute per day. The character takes a -2 deformity penalty on spot and search checks. Deformity face. Because of the intention of vile self-mutilization, the character has a hideous face. Prerequisite: willing deformity. But you get a +2 circumstance bonus on intimidate checks and +2 deformity bonus on diplomacy checks to deal with evil creatures of a different type. Evil brand. Sounds like the brand of Cthulhu. The character is physically marked forever as a servant of an evil power greater than herself, or as a villain who does not care, who knows that she seeks only death, destruction, and misery for others. The symbol is unquestionable in its perversity, depicting a depravity so unthinkable that those who see it know beyond doubt that the bearer is forever in the sway of the blackest powers. Benefit: evil creatures automatically recognize the symbol now emblazoned on the character as a sign of utter depravity and discipleship to a powerful patron, although the specific identity of the patron is not revealed. She gains a +2 circumstance bonus on diplomacy and intimidate checks made against evil creatures. Sacrificial mastery, thrall to demon, vermin friend. All right, so that's basically all of the feats. So that was good. So next we do get to prestige classes. So I guess we will pick up with prestige classes there next time we get to this, which will be probably in a few days, because we'll do Rabavania tomorrow. Then we may do one of my board games I published on Thursday. Where is something I can use as a bookmark? I'll tell you what, this will work. So there we go. All right, let's see. What have I had people say? Then I'm going to bring up some videos I was working on. Must have been a rough day for market research working on the evil brand. Okay, so this is creepy. This is creepy stuff. So be forewarned. So I've been working on into the AI stuff. I've been taking a deep dive into that over the past 2 weeks. And I wanted to experiment to see what could be done with it. And of course, one of the things that I wanted to do is be able to use this for Theophany and Rabavania, But like I said, a problem that I was having was that I've got a very specific vision for that. And so I, tried to develop something with it. And if it's not perfect, then I got a problem and I wouldn't want to release it. So I needed something that would, that I could work on or do that I was trying to work on my technique, my workflow, what was happening there, in order to get something done. Then I can work on something like training models specifically for Rabivania or something like that later. But I need to get the workflow down. So this right here, I'm going to put the link to this in the chat. So what I did was come up with the Black Cipher YouTube channel. I'm going to put this in Discord later, but I want to make sure that you guys had it first. So the Black Cipher YouTube channel is right here. And you can see it here. So this is the Black Cipher, which I'm seeing as one of the ideas. I was like, have I had some type of idea that I can just bring out and just do here? And yeah, actually I did. I had an idea that I just wrote down, then filed away in a notebook. I was like, well, gee, given infinite amount of time, but I don't have infinite amount of time because I got to work on these other worlds. But I was like, gee, if it could just be done, one idea that would be really cool would be to do a world where basically all the paranormal and supernatural kinds of stuff was true. And I had this idea, especially for like a GURPS game a long, long time ago. I was like, you know what? It might be fun to do a GURPS game. Of course, you could use whatever system, but it's like some type of GURPS game that was like a supernatural paranormal stuff where all of that was true. A lot of your conspiracy theories were true. So add all of that stuff, all of that kind of stuff, and throw that in. So I was like, hey, wait a minute, I have that idea. Why not do something like that? So I was like, what if I create, and I called it the Black Cipher. So I just put up this channel. I said, let me see what I can do with this. Oh, see, the Last Phoenix. It's another one of our Phoenix people, right? That's the thing with AI. It's good if you don't care about the details, but if you have your own vision, then it clashes with it. Exactly. That's why I think that what's going to have to happen is training my own model. So I'm going to have to work with training my own models to get the details right for the worlds that I want to do. But I got to get the process down. I got to get the process and the workflow of using AI down. So I created the Black Cipher, and I put up 5 different shorts that I created here. And what I did, just for the short ideas, and I didn't, these were taken from an idea. I don't know what I was looking up, but it came up. There's like creepy things my children say or something, or creepy things that my kids have said. And I went, oh, now, wait a minute. That's something that could go into the Black Cipher. I wonder if I can generate some type of short and then get all that edited together and put the workflow together. So that's what I did. I said, let's take these and then let's try to put them together. You should be able to hear it, but you can go over here to the Black Cipher.
My niece was sitting on the couch.
I asked my son.
My niece was sitting on the couch with a weird look on her face. When I asked her what she was thinking about, she said, I'm imagining the waves of blood rushing over me.
They're in a weird format.
On the couch with a weird look on her face. When I asked her what she was thinking about, she said, I'm imagining the waves of blood rushing over me. My niece would...
I asked my son, why are you crying? Bad man, he whispered. What bad man? I asked. There, he said, pointing behind me at a dark corner of the room. As I turned to look, a lamp on a table in the corner fell to the floor, leaving us in the dark. I asked my son.
My 3-year-old daughter stood next to her newborn brother, looking down on him. Then she turned to me and said, Daddy, it's a monster. We should bury it.
While with my daughter in front of the open closet, she kept laughing. I asked what was funny. She pointed at the closet and said, the man with the snake neck. There was nothing there. It's an old house, and now I think someone hung themselves in the closet. While with my daughter in front of the open closet, she kept laughing.
So, anyway, this one I really like.
3-year-old son into bed, he said,
Goodbye, Dad. I said, no, we say goodnight. He said, I know. But this time it's goodbye.
So anyway, so I was really excited about that because, the theme music does. So I was excited about that because I was able to put these together, and the snake neck is a good. Yeah, so I rewrote them a little bit. Yeah, the snake neck is a good one. So I rewrote them a little bit. They're not exactly as they were posted on Reddit. I've got a few more. Another one will post up there. So if you want to go over to that link, subscribe to it. I think that this will be a fun project because instead of trying to start with trying to get Rabavania done, because like I said, I think that one's going to require custom modeling and things like that. But if I come back down here, and then I've got some other things that I want to write for an environment like this. If I can write something like that, and then I can come up with practicing just the use of the tools in general, and then going through the editing process, I will. So check that out if you want. That's going to be one of the worlds. I'm going to put a thread about this in the Discord server as well. That unfortunately that means I created a new one, but so that actually means that maybe there are 4 we're doing. But this is kind of a fun pet horror project. But we're doing Tales of Rabavania and Theophany are the main worlds. I still want to do the Unspeakable Cults, which is the Cthulhu one for the stories that I still have in the Cthulhu mythos that I want to write that I'm not going to be able to do as part of Journey to the Tree, or no longer doing as part of Journey to the Tree of Sorrows, kind of branching out from that. And therefore also don't have to, can make them exactly what I want and don't have to worry about anyone else's sensibilities. But then this one right here needs to be like more of a, instead of, whereas the Cthulhu mythos one I'm thinking is more like, medieval fantasy or different kinds of fantasy. This one can be ideas for sci-fi and aliens and alien abductions and things like that. So that's what I was working on. So that's what I did yesterday. Yesterday afternoon was like, no, wait a minute. Can I pull these things together in some kind of way? So we'll do another short will come out at noon today. So if you want to, please do go over there and subscribe to that channel, because that's one of our world channels now. So, all right. I think this was a great conversation. Lots of fun. I really want to get back to writing my script, but I've got to do other work on other projects today, so I'm going to have to get to that, and I also need to cut more grass. I hope that you are productive today. I hope that you have a great day. I hope that you enjoyed this. I really enjoyed hanging out with you. The Book of Vile Darkness has generated the best discussions. Like, this has been, I love these fantastic discussions. So I'm glad to have them with you, and we will continue with that soon, but we'll be doing Rabavania tomorrow. Oh, and we may be painting tonight. I was trying to get a table talk ready for tonight, but I don't think I've had anybody accept my offer to do table talk tonight. So I've got painting to do, so we may instead paint and listen to maybe even Jamie Stegmaier. I did interview Jamie Stegmaier, so may do that. Anyway, so I look forward to seeing you tonight, tomorrow, and in the Discord channel. Thank you for putting the link out there, Stray. And please do like Vision. Yes, please do hit the like button if you are here and you enjoyed this. All right, everybody. See you tonight. Grind on.